So I would love, I know you guys talked about it a little bit, but I think it would be really nice because we're being recorded that we should all provide what we think our 2025 predictions are. Is that fair? Because
Mhm.
listen, on the Mike and Mike show, they always say what they think's going to happen and then come back and revisit it. So we are setting a precedent here. Mike and Mike, you heard it here first. What do we think 2025 is going to look like?
Are we going to
Um,
work off a spread, or is it win lose? Is it very polar, or is it like?
Oh, listen to Mike. He wants to win.
Right.
That's
Yeah, that's right.
hilarious.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
goodness. That's fantastic. Oh my God. All right, Wagar. So tell me what you think your predictions are for
Mm.
2025, and then we're going to make Strackoff say his as well. Okay.
Okay, so a couple thoughts. I mean, I think we're going to see some continued decrease in interest rates. So I don't feel like I'm going too far on a limb there. I won't say how often, how much, or the frequency of it because I don't know. Every time we've bet on that, we've been wrong. But I do think we're going to see some relief on the interest rates there. And look, I think we're going to still see continued activity. If anything, I think there's going to be a slight uptick in consolidation and activity. As rates come down, capital becomes more affordable. We've seen some PE guys who were on the sidelines come back in, but I still think there's a great market for independent agencies, privately held, to go out and acquire and grow and do that. There's a great market for it. I think multiples will stay pretty consistent. I don't really see them, retracting much. If anything, I could see them going up a little bit. So I think that's it's probably a boring prediction that it's like more of the same, but I really don't see anything, even with the hurricanes and the claims and carriers are having some hard times. I think it's going to be another year of strong activity.
Yeah. What
You
about
heard it
you,
here
Mike?
first.
Yeah, I heard. I know, Mike Wagar. You heard it here
Yeah,
first.
on the record.
Yeah, if I was to give you mine, this might be one of the first times in your recent history or memory that I'm speechless because no, I would say very, very similar to Mike, and not to reiterate those points, but the things that are the variables, which maybe I'll from that perspective is this presidential election. What happens there? What is the dialogue around capital gains, what we need to do there. It makes a very difficult voting process for me because I have one thought on why I would vote this way and another one that way, and some might drive deals into the marketplace. So it is going to be very, very interesting. I think it's going to be telling for a lot of things, and it could be even interest rates, the economy, and capital gains as being part of it. So I would say that's probably the wild card that would maybe adjust some of the things Mike said there, but I would feel 100% comfortable making the same statements Mike did with regard to predictions.
So I have one follow-up question. Do you think, because there's also some predictions that they think that the market will soften. We don't think it's going to completely soften, but we do believe in the next 12 to 18 months that there's already some signs that hard market will soften in places. Do you think that that will have an impact on any segment of the industry? Because many agencies are seeing the highest revenue levels they've ever seen because of rate. So you tell me, what do you think? And is it a segment of the market or is it wholesale that it might have an impact on?
Mike, do you mind if I take a stab at this?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. So I think, probably what gives me comfort is that it's not a light switch. It's not all of a sudden soft market and things drop by 30% for an agent. Usually there's a softening. So it's a process and it kind of allows, an opportunity for people to adjust if that's going to be a downward shift in revenue over time. I think when it comes down to hard market, soft market, it's going to be one of these line of business type moments too. Like, comp might be softening, GL might be softening, but I think, commercial auto and likely property is still going to be a problem based on a lot of things that we're seeing right now. So I think, you might have softening in certain lines, but I don't see it as a, complete softening of the insurance market. And I do think it's going to be something that happens over time. It is something that we talk about is that, is someone growing because of customer count or, policies in force? Or are they growing 100% on hard market and actually their customer count could be declining or they could be losing policies? It could be masking some things in an agency that are going on that aren't healthy that would likely come to bear, in a truly softened or, if it gets to that point, truly finalized softened market, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, to build on that, I mean, I think You can see the signs of softening, but the wide majority of agency owners I've talked to recognize that their revenues are high because of that. And they're like, I'm making more money without necessarily adding clients. I'm working harder to make this money because I'm quoting things and trying to shop for it, but we can see the uptick. And so I think most of them are realistic that that's not going to continue and it's going to come back down a little bit. But to Mike's point, you're not going to see it drop off a cliff. It'll be over time. And again, that's one of the beauties of this business is you don't see a ton of gradual, or severe upticks unless you write a bunch of new business. You don't see a lot of drop offs unless you lose that business. Market conditions generally are very subtle.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I really appreciate both of you coming and sharing. You guys heard it here first. We're going to definitely revisit these predictions and make sure that we all were accurate. But I would agree with you. Like, listen, if something doesn't change the retention or the predictability and the strength of this industry, then there's no reason to think that multiples are going to drop. Like that's my 30-second stay. And as soon as something like that changes, that actually changes what we all believe will be true on the future performance of agencies, we are going to remain a very, very good investment, and therefore multiples will remain high. And there's always going to be more buyers than sellers, especially because so many people want to grow by acquisition. So, and again, if that changes, if there's more buyers than sellers, or if there's more sellers than buyers, maybe that would shift it as well. But I've yet to see that, and I'm sure you guys haven't seen that either. So until those two things happen, it is going to be more of the same unless something external changes that, like interest rates or, crazy tax laws or something.